Hey, Diffuser fans, it's the captain, Herb Ivy here. Welcome on in. Today, a great interview for you with the founder, lead singer, lead guitarist of an amazing band from Colombia called Balthvs. We're lucky to have Balthazar Aguirre with us. Balthvs has a new album coming out this month. We'll talk about that. And for this Diffuser interview, we are bringing in a world-renowned jam band expert. Megan Glionna is with us. Meg is a music journalist and one of the voices behind the Helping Friendly podcast, which is the go-to Fish fans podcast. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk Balthvs.
Well, thank you so much, Balthazar. Herb and I are so excited to learn more about Balthvs and your upcoming record, Transmutations. But first, we kind of want to learn a little bit more about you. Is there an album or an artist that was inspiring to you when you were growing up? Maybe something that was playing a lot in your house growing up?
Yeah, back in the day, I was born right around CDs, so my mom always had a bunch of CDs, and that's basically what I heard my whole childhood. And it was Santana. My dad had a Bon Jovi CD, Spice Girls, and U2, and I was almost forced to listen to those four records like every day. And I believe that the one that really stuck with me was Santana. And forever, like that sort of serpent-like, hypnotic, guitar-driven music paved way for every other influence I had after.
Yeah, Carlos Santana has been so inspiring to so many artists. It's incredible, and we can really hear that in your music. So you and your bandmates have been releasing music since 2020, but how did you start playing music together?
Me and Santi got met through music. We were pretty much into psychedelics at the time, and we wanted music, and we wanted to make psychedelic music, and we formed a psychedelic band called Aguirre Cosmico, which it was basically kids learning how to make a band. And as the years went through, it started becoming more like our thing, and eventually just came to a point where you kind of seen how many years you've invested in this and you want to take it to the next level. So we really wanted to have like an actual professional band, but it didn't work out with that first band. And around the time, that was 2018 or so, 2019, I met up with Glionna, and then we started living together. And then we thought, hey, why not work together, like with Glionna? So Santiago from the previous band and I got with Glionna, and then we formed Balthvs because it just seemed sensitive that in order to make a living out of this, we had to go away from large formats, like anything bigger than a quartet. And we thought the trio was actually a lucrative way, like a way to actually live off of this, which was like the main concern more than anything. And that's how we formed Balthvs, and it worked.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think the intimacy is something you really hear with your music that really comes through and really makes you stand out. You have such a tightness when you're playing together. And I was looking into your last album, Harvest, was actually written as a band, whereas your previous albums, it seemed like they were written just by you, Balthazar. How did that change come about? Can you kind of explain how that approach changed when you were writing your last album, Harvest?
A record deal popped up. We were ready to work with this manager / label, that's Oz from Mixto Records. We love him. And we had a month to basically get everything together, and it was physically impossible for me to make an album on my own in such a short amount of time. So we rented, with the advance money, we rented a farm and equipment and recorded the album ourselves, like the three of us in a month, and that's Harvest right there, and it worked.
Is that an approach you used for your new record, Transmutations, that's coming out later this month?
No. Transmutations is basically to show the world how a Balthvs concert sounds like, because all of these other records, I pretty much did them on my own with the intention of being almost like chill out music so that you could do your live and have nice music as a background. It was very functional in objective, whereas Transmutations is actually like the live experience, which is very intense and powerful. And we don't we don't hold bars. We just lay it all out there. We're much more fiery as a band when we play live. We're not this background music when we're playing live. We're very much not trying to sound intimate, but rather we're trying to sound huge, or what the trio allows us to sound like. So hopefully Transmutations shows everybody what a Balthvs show is like, because the live aspect of is more than half of this musical journey we're going through.
I think it's such an amazing way to think about making a record, is take that live bass, the live idea, and then bring it back into the studio. You know, you talk a lot about alchemy, and that's such a great example of it. I think it's so smart.
Thank you. Yes, it's the concept of that I thought of, because one of my other major influences, the Grateful Dead. Even though I didn't get to see the band because I was born too late, I've probably heard over 1,500 concerts of theirs, and I just love the magic of being spontaneous. However, the quality diminishes when you hear live records or bootlegs, and I wanted to have a live record that could compete in terms of studio quality. And that was the main reason to go back to the studio, because I was actually very happy with the musical result of what we did in the moment. And we had the freedom to actually, there was another thing too, was that our original bass player, Glionna, was pregnant. So she couldn't go on for most of the year. She couldn't go on tour with us. And we had to go with another bass player I recruited called Vanessa as a fill-in. And I wanted to have Glionna also present in the record, so that with going back to the studio, I could actually add her vocals and I could add things like that. So all four of us are represented in that record, which was a very strange and intense year of our lives, 2025.
That's such a smart idea. I wish more bands that played live and that the live experience was such a huge part of their act as a musician. I wish more of them brought that energy and that vibe into the studio. I was listening to the prelude you have out, the 3 singles from Transmutations, and Inner Heights sounds like an extended jam off that cover of Shakedown Street that you have. Is that something that happened organically, or is that something you scripted and then played live as well?
No, that's just the way to. Well, as you said, and that's exactly what it was. It's the extended jam that comes out of it, and given the way streaming works, I've always had this sort of a problem with the streaming model. And don't get me wrong, I love streaming. It actually brings a living. It makes a living to musicians. I am not in the position that streaming rips off musicians or something. I actually believe it actually rewards us a lot. But anyway, that's another point. To go to your question, the thing with streaming is that it rewards short songs, because you make money after 30 seconds of listening. You go to a track and you listen to it, and you listen to it for 30 seconds, and that's one stream. It doesn't matter if the song is 1 minute or if the song is 10 minutes, you get rewarded as an artist for one song. And so basically that is like a deterrent to create long music. But we love creating, I love to listen to long songs and extended jams. So the solution is to break up the long songs into many little songs and just give them a name. And that way you're maximizing streaming. And also, additionally, since Shakedown was a cover, I believe that song is pretty much 100% Balthvs. That's not a replication of a Grateful Dead concert or anything, which would be impossible, but rather it's us creating music on the moment, and that's something I believe is very much a crucial element of our show, because many bands just play a rehearsed show, especially bands that play at festivals and such. They just rehearse one show and they always play it back to back the same way during a tour. Whereas since we're so inspired by improvisational music, from jazz to jam bands and such, we always go on this almost painful challenge of always trying to come up with something new and challenging ourselves. It's not even necessary. Sometimes I think, like, why do we even do this? It's like torturing ourselves. But we still do it because sometimes we do hit goals. Like, out of 4 shows. We might do mediocre improvisations, but then there comes this one show where we do something really nice. And I hope that Inner Heights captures those moments when the audience is very receptive and we are playing to the height of our powers, and something comes up that to us sounds really good, and that's it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. It feels like such a build out of the song, and then, like you said, really kind of explores into your sound in a way that is really exciting and really inspiring to hear. And, we've been hearing so much about your band in the jam band scene. That's kind of where I come from. And it's been really exciting. You're playing so many shows. You played, seems like almost 100 shows last year all over the world. Can you talk about some of the festivals this summer maybe that you're excited about? I know you're playing a bunch of American festivals. Is there anywhere you're especially looking forward to playing?
Well, we're going all over the States. We're having very few concerts this year, basically because we played so many last year and we just needed time to make new material. So it's very limited, the amount of shows we're going to play. I am very excited to play Missoula and Sawtooth because one of the greatest blessings of this job has been traveling around the world, and especially the United States. We've been to 26 states so far playing as a musicians, and this is going to be our first time in Montana and Idaho. And these are not city festivals or city gatherings. This is like way out in what remains of the American wilderness. And so to be able to play music in nature is double the blessing and double the fun to me, as I always. That's what I like to do the most when I'm not playing music. I just like to be in nature. So I'm very excited for Siouxtown at Missoula on June 20th and the Sawtooth Valley Gathering on June 18th. Notwithstanding, I'm also very excited to play at All Good Now at Meriwether Post Pavilion. The Dead has played so many concerts there. So I'm also very excited for that.
That's amazing. You're going to get some West Coast and some East Coast stuff. That's going to be fantastic. And we know that your band is named after an artist. So we know that you have really strong connections to art. I know you do the cover art for your albums. Can you talk a little bit about how visual art is connected to your music?
It's basically we work with the talents the universe gave us, or I was born with musical ability, hopefully to an extent, and graphics. So that's why I do it. Because I'm not really good at making video, which is a shame because this is the video era. I sure hope I was more of a cinematographer because right now content is king. But instead, the graphic is what I can do, and I can do a lot of good collage art because being a painter or somebody that draws, that would take as much time as it's taken me to play guitar competently. But at least I try to do collage-based art, and that's what I did with Transmutations, and that's what I've done with, like you said, with every single piece of art. And also, like you said, Balthvs is a Swiss, French, Polish painter from the 1940s, expressionist, I would say. And his paintings were my favorite in a museum in Colombia that I used to work with many years ago before I became a musician. And I like the ring to it, and we're both called Balthazar, and I don't know any other Balthazars anywhere. So it felt nice. That's why.
That's amazing to have that connection with your name and then also someone who inspires you in a different medium. I think that's incredible. And collage art is so exciting. It's a really incredible, I think, approachable art form. So that's really amazing that you're doing that. And it's been really great getting to know you, Balthazar. Thank you so much for your time today.
No, thanks. Thanks for listening, and hope you get to see one of the shows.
Big thanks to Megan Glionna for helping us today, and of course to Balthazar and the entire Balthvs crew. But mostly thanks to you for listening as we continue to explore the past, present, and future of the coolest alternative indie jam and rock artists here at Diffuser.